King Solomon. The name itself conjures images of immense wisdom. It also brings to mind unimaginable wealth. For thousands of years, stories of his riches have echoed through time. These tales paint a picture of a kingdom overflowing with gold. They speak of a ruler whose splendor was unmatched in the ancient world. We explore this legendary affluence. Was it a historical reality? Or is it a grand story magnified through the ages? The texts describe a king whose every possession seemed to gleam with precious metal. This idea has captivated imaginations for countless generations, a testament to the enduring power of such narratives. The Bible, a primary source for these accounts, is quite specific. It states that King Solomon received a staggering amount of gold each year. The figure mentioned is 666 talents of gold. Now, a talent was a unit of weight in ancient times. Imagine one talent being roughly equivalent to the weight of an adult man. So, 666 talents represents an enormous quantity of this precious metal. This annual income did not even include revenue from merchants, trade, or tribute from other kings. It suggests a treasury constantly replenished, a river of gold flowing into Jerusalem, the heart of his kingdom. Among Solomon's most famed possessions was his throne. This was no ordinary seat of power. The scriptures describe it as a great throne of ivory. It was then overlaid with the finest gold. Imagine the craftsmanship, the sheer brilliance of such an object. It had 6 steps leading up to it. 12 golden lions stood guard, 6 on each side of the steps. 2 more lions stood beside the armrests. This throne was a bold statement of power and wealth, designed to awe visitors and display the king's majestic status to all who came before him. Beyond the throne, gold permeated Solomon's court. The Bible tells us he made hundreds of shields of beaten gold. Large shields called targets and smaller shields were crafted. These were not just for ceremonial display. They represented a vast store of wealth. All the drinking vessels in King Solomon's palace were made of pure gold. Silver, it is said, was considered of little value in Jerusalem during his reign. This detail emphasizes the sheer abundance of gold. It paints a picture of a kingdom where gold was as common as stone, a truly golden age. One of the most intriguing sources of Solomon's gold is the land of Ophir. Its exact location remains a historical puzzle. Scholars and adventurers have proposed various sites. Some suggest locations in Africa, perhaps modern-day Zimbabwe or Ethiopia. Others point towards Arabia or even India. The Bible tells us that Solomon's ships, in partnership with Hiram, king of Tyre, sailed to Ophir. From there they brought back vast quantities of gold. The mystery of Ophir adds another layer to the legend of Solomon's riches, a fabled land of treasure. These voyages to Ophir were not solely for gold. The ships returned laden with other exotic goods. They brought almug, a type of precious timber. This wood was used for pillars in the temple and the royal palace. It was also used to make musical instruments like harps and lyres. Precious stones were another valuable import from Ophir. These gems would have adorned the royal court and the temple, adding to the dazzling display of wealth. The journey to Ophir was long and arduous, taking 3 years for a round trip, underscoring the value of its cargo. King Solomon was also a master of diplomacy and trade. He forged strong alliances with neighboring rulers. His most significant alliance was with Hiram, the Phoenician king of Tyre. Tyre was a major maritime power. The Phoenicians were renowned sailors and traders. This partnership gave Solomon access to their expertise and their extensive trade networks across the Mediterranean and beyond. Hiram supplied Solomon with skilled craftsmen and precious materials like cedar wood from Lebanon, crucial for his ambitious building projects. This collaboration was a cornerstone of Solomon's economic power. Beyond the expeditions to Ophir, Solomon had another fleet of trading ships. These were known as the ships of Tarshish. Like Ophir, the precise location of Tarshish is debated. It might have been Tartessos in ancient Spain, a land known for its mineral wealth. These ships also undertook long voyages. They returned every 3 years. Their cargo included gold, silver, ivory, apes, and peacocks. These exotic imports further highlight the extent of Solomon's trade network. They demonstrate a kingdom connected to distant lands, drawing wealth and wonders from across the known world. The most magnificent of King Solomon's undertakings was the construction of the first temple in Jerusalem. This was not merely a place of worship, it was intended as a permanent dwelling place for the Ark of the Covenant. it was also a symbol of God's presence with Israel. The resources poured into its construction were immense, according to biblical accounts. The temple became a focal point of national identity and religious life. Its legendary splendor was designed to reflect the glory of God and the prosperity of Solomon's reign, a testament in stone and gold. The sheer quantity of precious metals used in the temple is astonishing. The Bible details vast amounts of gold and silver dedicated to its structure and furnishings. The inner sanctuary, the most holy place, was overlaid entirely with pure gold. This included the walls, the floor, and the ceiling. Even the altar for incense was covered in gold. The scale of this gilding operation would have been enormous. It suggests a command over resources and skilled labor that was truly exceptional for its time, making the temple a beacon of opulence. Specific elements within the temple were crafted with incredible artistry and lavish materials. Solomon commissioned 2 large cherubim angelic figures made of olive wood and then overlaid with gold. These stood in the most holy place, their wings stretching across the chamber. There were 10 golden lampstands, golden tables for the bread of the presence, and numerous basins, shovels and bowls, all made of gold. Every detail, from the largest structures to the smallest utensil, was designed to contribute to an atmosphere of sacred magnificence, a truly awe-inspiring sight. The construction of the temple was a massive national project. It took 7 years to complete. It involved tens of thousands of laborers and skilled artisans. The logistics of quarrying stone, felling timber, transporting materials, and then the intricate work with gold and bronze must have been incredibly complex. This project alone would have consumed a significant portion of the kingdom's wealth. Its completion was a landmark achievement, solidifying Jerusalem's status as a religious and political center, and cementing Solomon's reputation as a great builder king whose works were as grand as his fortune. The biblical descriptions of Solomon's wealth are truly breathtaking, but do they reflect historical reality? This is a question historians and archaeologists have debated for many years. The sheer scale of the gold and the opulence described would make Solomon one of the wealthiest individuals in all of history. Some scholars approach these accounts with caution. They suggest that the numbers might be symbolic or exaggerated. They point to the literary nature of the texts, which aim to glorify Solomon and his reign as a golden age blessed by God. Archaeological evidence for such colossal wealth during the 10th century BCE in Jerusalem is limited, while archaeology has confirmed a developing urban center in Jerusalem during this period. Findings that directly corroborate the biblical descriptions of vast gold hoards are scarce. Excavations have uncovered fortifications and public buildings. They show a well-organized state. However, they do not reveal treasures on the scale described in the texts. This lack of direct physical evidence leads some to believe the accounts are more legend than literal history, a powerful story rather than a precise inventory. It is possible that the biblical narratives employ hyperbole. This is a literary device using exaggeration for emphasis or effect. The purpose might not have been to provide an exact accounting of Solomon's treasury. Instead, it could have been to convey the idea of divine favor and unparalleled prosperity. A kingdom blessed by God would naturally be depicted as exceedingly rich. The numbers like 666 talents of gold could also hold symbolic meanings within the cultural context of the time, rather than being strictly literal quantities. This perspective considers the storytelling traditions of the ancient Near East. Regardless of the precise historical accuracy, the story of King Solomon's wealth holds profound symbolic meaning. It represents a peak of Israelite power and prestige. It is an image of a kingdom at peace, blessed with wisdom and abundance. Solomon's riches are often linked to his wisdom, a gift from God. In this sense, the wealth is not just material, it is a manifestation of divine blessing and righteous rule. For millennia, the legend of Solomon's gold has served as a powerful symbol of glorious prosperity, divine favor, and the enduring allure of a golden age in human history.